Hello and welcome to another opening series where we gonna this time around going to cover the Italy. Cutting straight to the chase, at the start you want to have two of your villagers create collecting the food crates and one villager collecting the wood crate. Collecting the wood crate is very important because it's going to speed up the market construction time because market is your economy since you do get one villager per technology that you research. May it be it counts for every single technology, either native technologies, your own technologies, you name it. If it is a technology, you're going to get a will from it. And in terms of the treasures, the best case scenario is that you gain yourselves a coin treasure right at the start, so you can get the hunting dogs as soon as possible, since that's our priority number one. Usually, you want to build your market as soon as possible. Okay, a bit of items on me, not great. But in case you are not finding a coin treasure or a good food treasure, I find out myself a coin treasure right here. That is perfect. You can build your market when you have 50 food available. 50 food available if you find a wood treasure, or the equivalent to that. Then you sell that wood for a coin, and then you get your hunting dogs that way. I was a bit hesitant to build the market ASAP, since I only saw this wood treasure right here. So I could use the market to utilize myself to get the hunting dogs ASAP. It is fine if you don't get the hunting dog ASAPs. However, you do want to get the hunting dogs the latest at your third technology. And in terms of the market upgrades, you are wanting you to research the blunderbuss, greatcoats, gangster, and hunting dogs. So all the tier 1 upgrades besides of the placer mines. Placer mines we are going to get ourselves in a later stage of the game, in the transition phase. The architect is going to start to build a market and a house. And then it depends on what you want to do. You can either build a market, a trading post, or a lombard. I chose myself to build a lombard, since it's a bit of less of a risk than the trading post is. And I generally prefer lombard starts over trading post starts. Trading posts are also exceptional well to boost up your shipment curve. But that's more or less just a personal preference of mine. And the ultimate goal for Italy is to age up at 3 minutes. That is like the ideal circumstance. If you have an amazing Edge 1, you are going to be able to age up at 3 minutes flat. However, if you didn't have amazing Edge 1, if you didn't got like good treasures, or if your herding wasn't on point, or your priority order on the technologies are not great either, then you're going to age up around 310 to 330. So Italy in the H1 is very punishable. If you have a great H1, you're going to age up very fast, and sometimes even with steel trap as well. Because remember that Italy can research any eco upgrade in any age that you research usually in the respective age in H1. So you can also get amalgamation, circular saw, and all those upgrades. So in the transition phase, you want to, in terms of age up, you have like 3 options. The first option is to age up with the governor, if you expect a rush. Since we are facing Mexico, this is the age up of choice, because it does give us your utility of the outpost to defend against any rush. Not defend, but to ally us to help to defend against the rushes. The second one is if you want to go for a lot of Lombards, is the 500 food age up. I know it sounds hilarious to age up with 500 food, but hear me out. If you invest 500 food into a Lombard, it all of a sudden becomes a 250 wood and 250 coin age up. Does sound quite cool, right? And the third one... Is that the third one? No, not really. Okay, only two ones. The third one could be the Medici. If you really feel fancy. Which gives you a Lombard and a Vil. If you feel fancy, you can do that either as well. Alright, in the transition phase, you want to get yourself laser mines, steel traps, and of course the H1 card was the capitalism. And the reason you get like pretty much all of them on wood. I am having a few more on food, because one thing I do like to do is to invest food immediately. Like once you have 250 food, I like to invest it immediately into the Lombard, so it gets converted into wood and coin as soon as possible. And Lombard is a bit of more of a complex building. The TLDR version is that you want to invest food as always, as soon as possible into it, as soon as you have a bit food in the bank. Coin is also valuable, but never invest wood into it. Only if you're really having coin or food issues. Can, with the governor, no coming up, a very defensive outpost. We are going to make a barrack start, a very defensive one behind the base. Because we do know that Mexico loves the aggression. So we want to be as safe as possible. So if he wants to get this barracks down, he needs to heavily commit to the barracks. We got very far behind our front lines in order to siege the barracks down. Motive H up. It's a bit sloppy with me. I'm a little bit housed. But so be it. And in terms of first shipment of choice, you usually want to send up either Uffizi or Monte di Pieta, one of those two cards. If you think you cannot get away with Uffizi being the first card, send it at first card. If you think you need a bit more resources and levi those, then send it a second card or third at least. But since we are facing a rush, I was a bit hesitant if I should send the Path of the Years or the Monte di Pieta, but there's not really as much siege here at this state of the game. So I was feeling quite secure and sent Monte di Pieta instead of the Path of the Years, but now I see the 10 pikes reinforcing, so I immediately switch back to those Path of the Years. And usually want to go for a second Architect as well in the transition phase. And in the H2. Once you're in H2, you are going to build another Architect possible. But since you're facing rush, you need all the resources and all the disposal to leverage that to defend ourselves. So the cavalry is down, which is very nice for our Paviliers to snipe down those insurgentes. Right, we are still minimum level. I was hesitant to call it because minimum is the best defensive tool that you have to your arsenal when you are Italy. Since you can time it with a military pop, you can time it with your shipment, you can time it with your Asia bonus, you can time it with your Basilica unit call of choice. Either the pikes, the anti-skirms, Schiavonis, or the paper lance company, paper lancers. Where instead of the 6 units that you get, we are all of a sudden getting 12 that the opponent has to fight with a different kind of unit composition as well. So now that we pretty much hold the first push, our now is being very safe and sent in the Monte Pietas to get some resource in. See, that's our resource triggering quite fast. And as next shipment, I was trying to decide if I want to send wood or coin. And since there's not really that much any cav, there's just insurgentes, I was feeling fancy and sent the Broken Lance Company instead. Because he was also investing a bit into the skirm heavy component here. And the TC can easily slide out those insurgentes. And also soldados as well, since only have melee resistance. I try to run as far back as possible to not lose any military. So if the Broken Lance Company arrives, I have plenty of units to fight off the infantry of my opponent. Since we do not know what's yet to come, in this case wasn't sure if what did he send or what he didn't. Yeah, trying to just dwindle down the handicap as much as possible with my Cavaliers. Minimum get caught, I put off the villagers as well to give us a bit of breathing room. Remember that they have great coats, so they are very tanky. And this is going to be an easy cleanup for us. So as Italy, you heavily have to rely on your timings. Your timings are very important. After a unit shipment like the Broken Lance Company, or after you have used all your coin, or after you have invested some resources into your Lombards and they ran out, you have to lean into those. If you don't utilize your timings, you're going to have a pretty rough time at Italy. And Italy is not really a easy civ to pick up. It's going to take you a little bit. And it's mine now. I capture the flag. So yeah, so now I sent the Uffizi card since we are essentially held the push. We have now the military advantage, so I do want to get our Basilica out since it does have a few nice technologies. Where you can get 3 builds from it, maybe even 4. It has 4 quite cheap technologies that we will use. And now we have 2 options. Either we continue on our H2 play, push down on this front base over here, the fight base, barracks, the hacienda. There's also very expensive buildings. This does give us also of kill XP. 240 kill XP is a lot. It's like 2/3 of a shipment, 1/3 of a shipment at this point of the game. And keep in mind that when you send in Uffizi, you have to have at least 1 resource invested into your Lombard in order to get the experience trickle. Maybe a bit housed. Yeah, see, the musket room for musketeer training, huh? I guess I'm housed. Maybe a bit housed. But I, for this time around, decided to go for a H2 play. Double down our unit production at a stable, go for musketeer and hussar production. Since you do get nice upgrades for infantry, 15% hit points on your infantry, and pretty much 15% attack damage on all your stuff that you ever going to train. 7 coin is going to be on the way. That's why I start the musketeer and hussar production. I'm going to get some out of food and coin, so we can get some wood out for technologies, or maybe some technologies, but sadly those F-Zones have very expensive technologies. Will be a very expensive villager, that is. And we're now starting to pressure him a bit, see what he's up to. He said he's quite a bit of mass, though not quite as much as I was expecting. I'm half expecting him to age. Like when you see your opponent doesn't have as much mass as you have, you know something is up. In this case, he was indeed macroing for the H3. As we said, we are committed to our H2 play. We're gonna slowly start to max out our Lombard production since we have 5 is the max. This is gonna be our last Lombard. I did one mistake to have a little too many on coin, since we did send in the coin shipment. And there's another shipment available, which is going to be used for... Actually, I don't remember what I sent there. Ah, advanced politicians. Because there wasn't really anything else that we could ship to boost up our military as much. And maybe you could have sent in the infantry point upgrade, but my goal was to apply pressure And then if we find a window to age, that we age up then at this stage. Let's look at the math we have. 24 Musketeers, 8 Hussars. We still have the Broken Lance Company completely available to us. 3 Minutemen, 3 Powers. Nothing really he can do to defend this. He can macro as good as he wants. Jack boxing, destroying everything, but we have the much more army superiority. And it's also fighting where it's aging up. Because remember they're still getting an age up bonus. It's getting some more Shinakos out, gonna get some more Insurgentes. And now we will really take down this FB to give us open this, pretty much the entirety of the map for us. Because this barracks Asiena is kind of giving him this third, this fourth of the map. And once we take it down, it takes down a lot of pressure off of us and onto him. There's Shivani swords coming in for melee attack on all the Hussars. We have 12 now. Oh, never mind. I think now I save up the ship in Foil 3. As you see, I cancelled all militaries that I had. Now I'm just going to see where my opponent is, where he's gathering from. As you see, I didn't scout the back of the bases, since the map usually it's surrounded by cliffs. Some has pickups here and there. He has no dragoon, so we need to be really careful about those. Did not want to risk losing much. In hindsight, I should have, deselected the paper lancers, since paper lancers are very slow cav units, only 6 speed. Yeah, just patrolling. What was that? Ah! For whatever reason, the villager decided to attack the bear. Don't ask me how that works. And in general, the H3 age-ups, you can either age up with the Musketeers, with the Powers, or with the Bishop. In hindsight, I probably should have aged up with the Bishop, which would have given me another town center to really double down on our eco advantage. We already have 6 villager advantage, and keep in mind that your Lombards are also very strong eco houses, eco productions. Because it does make your villagers gather quite efficiently. Then usually you have 80% of your villagers on food, and then the last remaining 20% on coin. Most of the time. Unless you're like me and you just ran out of hunt and just want to fix your macro ASAP. Just to keep them working, I would say. And your architects pretty much going to build all those Lombards, all those Basilicas, if needed, more military production. And once you're on H3, you definitely want to build with them together, since they do not have diminishing returns. Those town centers on some key location, for example here, between those trees, would have given me extra 2 hunts and this coin mine. And maybe on the top side too, which has given me 2 access, 2 coin mines and 2 hunts. And if I would give like one tip that I would give to all Italy players, it is that we all know Italy H4 is very strong. We know that. They're very strong, powerful shipments. However, do not tunnel vision yourself into that you have to reach H4. Because in this example, I won the game in H2. And there is also plenty of games where I won where I was H3. Because you do get a very strong economy. You get the Milanese arsenal, which is pretty much the advanced arsenal, but it with the effect that your technologies are 50% cheaper, and this is your pseudo second town center because it's giving you a lot of eco. You also have those trickles here, you also have cav combat, you have strong mediocre infantry, since you can't cast them at once, infantry points. Abandoned Company is a very strong card. Maybe the strongest A3 card, Kev-wise. Too far, you can always go for a Musk Far composition, adding some Husk later on. Again, you have also the Paper Lancers, which are quite strong indeed. Do we have those around? Yeah, pretty attack. There's another 1.5 multiplier against infantry, so they really help you to deal with the light infantry range sort of unit. Since the Pavaliers are not really the choice of unit, since you have to really cut them up in order to make them useful. In terms of Pavaliers, don't make Pavaliers unless you really have to. Because they're very pricey crossbows. They are tanky, they have utility, but they're very pricey crossbows in the end of the day. So, hope it was educational. Hope you learned something. And I will see you then in the next one where I'm going to cover the Maltese.